My name is Alyssa Grant, and I'm 31 years old. I've lived in the same city my whole life. Glass buildings, familiar traffic patterns, the same coffee place that spells my name right without asking. For years, I thought my stability meant something was missing. But when I met Michael Carter, I thought maybe stability was finally a good thing. Michael was 29, worked in marketing, and had the kind of smile that made people forgive him too quickly. We'd been together for 3 years, and for months we'd been quietly planning our future, apartment hunting, ring shopping conversations, merging weekend routines. Nothing flashy, nothing chaotic, just us. For a long time, that felt enough. Then, one Friday in early November, he said something that rewired the way I understood my entire relationship. That night, Michael had his friends over for one of their regular wine nights. They were the kind of group who treated Instagram stories like documentation of their existence. Loud, talkative, overly comfortable in other people's living rooms. I didn't mind them, but I usually stayed out of the way so Michael could enjoy himself. Around 9 p.m., I stepped out of the bedroom to grab water. Their laughter carried from the living room. A little sharper than usual, wine loosened. I wasn't trying to listen. But sometimes the universe doesn't give you the mercy of ignorance. "So, how's the whole future together thing going?" one of his friends asked. Michael snorted. "Fine. Stressful, but fine." "You excited?" another teased. There was a beat of silence that made my hand freeze on the refrigerator door. "I mean, yeah, of course," Michael said. "You don't sound excited." A longer pause. "I am. I just don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I'm settling." The refrigerator's cold air spilled over my hands. My heartbeat stalled. One friend scoffed. "Settling? Seriously? Alyssa's great. She's stable. She treats you well. She actually wants a life with you. What more do you want?" "I know," Michael said quickly. "I know she's great, but she's also kind of boring." The words slid under my skin like a blade. "Everything is routines and schedules," he continued. "Predictable, comfortable. I don't know. I guess sometimes I miss, excitement." "Excitement like Taylor?" someone said. My breath faltered. Taylor Reed, his ex-girlfriend. The one he told me was a mistake and in the past. The one he dated for 2 years before me. The one he said was toxic but passionate, unstable but addictive. One of the women laughed. "Taylor was exciting because she was a mess. You two argued every day." "Yeah," Michael said with a small laugh. "But at least I felt something. With Alyssa, everything's just easy, predictable." A friend challenged him. "Comfortable is good." "Maybe," he muttered. "Or maybe I should have gone back to Taylor when she reached out last year." I gripped the fridge door to steady myself. He knew I overheard that last year he'd gotten a message from Taylor, but he never told me she reached out. He'd lied, hidden it, like he had been carrying around a secret he didn't think mattered. I walked back to the bedroom silently. I didn't confront him that night. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat on the edge of the bed, replaying every moment of the past 3 years like scenes from a movie I suddenly realized I'd misunderstood. Michael came in around 11 p.m., smelling faintly of wine. "Hey, you okay? You've been quiet tonight." "Yeah, I'm fine." "You sure?" "Just tired." He kissed my forehead. It felt cold. "Okay, love you." "Love you too." But I didn't sleep at all. My mind ricocheted between disbelief and humiliating clarity. How long had he felt this way? How many conversations had he had about me behind closed doors? How many moments had I mistaken for affection when they were actually resignation? The next morning, I was making coffee when he walked in. "Morning." "Morning. You're up early." "Couldn't sleep," I said, turning to face him. "I heard what you said last night." He froze, completely. "What?" "About me being boring, about settling, about Taylor." His face drained of color. "Alyssa, wait, I didn't mean any of that. It was just guy talk. Stupid venting. I didn't think..." "Did Taylor reach out last year?" He hesitated. A microscopic pause, but I saw it. "Yes," he finally said. "But I didn't respond. I chose you." "You chose me," I repeated, tasting the bitterness of it. "Like I was an option on a shelf?" "That's not what I meant." "Then tell me what you meant, Michael, because I heard you say you wondered if you should have gone back to her." "I was venting," he insisted. "Everyone vents. Everyone has doubts." "Doubts about what?" I asked. "About being with me? About building a life with me? About stability?" He swallowed hard. "Wedding planning, or planning anything, gets stressful. I just needed to talk." "By telling your friends I'm boring and predictable?" He flinched. "That was a terrible word choice." "And the part about Taylor?" He didn't answer. Something in me cracked cleanly. "You know what?" I said softly. Good to know. His eyes narrowed. What does that mean? It means I'm glad I know how you really feel. Alyssa, don't do this, he pleaded. Don't blow this out of proportion. I'm not blowing anything out of proportion. I'm acknowledging reality. He paced. You're twisting things. You know I love you. You know I want a life with you. I crossed my arms. Then explain why you unblocked Taylor. His whole body went still. What? You heard me. I checked. She's not blocked. You follow each other again. Alyssa, When did you unblock her? He looked away. A few months ago, but I haven't talked to her. Why would you unblock your ex-girlfriend who told you she wanted you back? I don't know, he snapped. It felt petty to keep her blocked. Or you wanted to keep the option open. That's not... God, you're twisting everything. No, I said quietly. I'm connecting dots. Silence stretched between us like a fault line. Finally, he grabbed his keys and said, I'm going to Serena's. I need space. Of course you do. He paused at the door. Alyssa, please don't make this worse. I'm not the one who made it worse. He left without another word. The apartment fell silent. For the first time since meeting him, I felt truly alone. Michael didn't come home that night. For a while, I walked from room to room, turning lights on and off, like it would somehow steady my thoughts. His jacket was gone from the hook by the door. His cologne still hung faintly in the hallway. His toothbrush sat next to mine like nothing had happened. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. Michael, I'm at Serena's. We both need to cool off. A second message followed. Michael, I love you. I'm just stressed. Can we talk tomorrow? I stared at the screen, thumb hovering over the keyboard, then set the phone face down on the coffee table. I didn't sleep much. When I did drift off, it was to half dreams of him laughing with Taylor, of him standing in some dim bar telling her all the things he'd stopped saying to me. By morning, my chest hurt from the weight of it. I grabbed an overnight bag, shoved clothes inside without really seeing them, and drove across town to my best friend Marissa Hale's apartment. She opened the door in leggings and an oversized t-shirt, squinting until she registered my face. Oh my God, she said. What happened? I stepped inside and said, he thinks I'm boring. A half hour later, after coffee and a blanket and a lot of choking my way through the story, she sat back on the couch and blew out a slow breath. Wow, she said. That's rough. Understatement of the year. He actually said he wondered if he should have gone back to Taylor. Yeah, and that he unblocked her months ago. Marissa winced. Everyone has doubts sometimes, sure, but not everyone tells their friends they're settling while keeping their ex unblocked like a parachute. I rubbed my forehead. Part of me feels like I should try to salvage this. We've been together 3 years. We've already put in an application and deposit on that new apartment downtown. I've planned my life around him. And the other part? She asked quietly. The other part wonders what else he's been lying about. She didn't rush to answer. That's what I loved about Marissa. She didn't flood silence with empty reassurances. Look, she said eventually, you don't have to decide anything today, but don't gaslight yourself just because he's scared you'll leave. What you heard is enough. We spent most of the day in a strange limbo. Netflix in the background, my mind not really following any of it, my phone buzzing every few hours. Michael, please talk to me. Michael, I'm sorry, I was stupid. Michael, can we hit reset, please? I answered once, late afternoon. Me, I need space. He didn't reply after that. By Sunday evening, I was starting to convince myself maybe I'd overreacted, that maybe boring was a careless word and not a revelation. I was sitting on Marissa's couch, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, when a message from an unknown number popped up. Unknown, is this Alyssa? I frowned. Me, yes, who is this? There was a pause, then, unknown, this is Taylor Reed. My stomach dropped so hard I had to put the phone down for a second. Marissa glanced over. You okay? I swallowed. It's her, I whispered. It's Taylor. Block her, Marissa said immediately. You don't need that chaos. But curiosity, that poison, was already spreading. I picked up the phone again. Me, what do you want? The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, reappeared. Taylor, I'm not trying to start anything. I just thought you should know what's going on. My hands went cold. Me, with what? Taylor, with Michael. It felt like someone tightened a rope around my ribs. Me, what about him? Taylor. He reached out to me yesterday, said he was having doubts, that things with you felt too comfortable, and he missed how intense things were with us. He asked if we could meet up and talk about old times. The words blurred. Me, did you meet him? Taylor. No, that's why I'm messaging you. I told him it wasn't a good idea, that I didn't want to be in the middle of your relationship. He got weird when I said no. But I figured you should know he reached out. My heart hammered so hard I could feel it in my throat. I asked the one question that mattered. Me. Have you two been talking before yesterday? Long pause. Taylor. He liked a few of my posts after he unblocked me. Sent a couple of "How have you been?" DMs a while back. I ignored them. Yesterday was the first time he really pushed. I took a slow breath, feeling something inside me shift from hurt to something sharper. Clarity, maybe. Me. Thank you for telling me. Taylor. For what it's worth, I don't want him back. I just don't like being used as some kind of backup plan. Backup plan. There it was again. I ended the conversation politely, then stared at the screen for a long time. Finally, I took screenshots of the entire chat and sent them to Michael. No caption, no commentary. He called within 30 seconds. I let it ring a few times before answering. Hello? Alyssa, it's not what you think. Then what is it? I asked, my voice unnervingly calm. Because what it looks like is we had a fight, and by the next day, you were reaching out to your ex. I was upset, he said quickly. I wasn't thinking clearly. I just needed someone who understood me. So you chose the woman you dated before me. The one you told me was toxic. The one you said you'd cut out of your life. I didn't think she'd actually tell you, he muttered. I let that sit between us for a beat too long. That's your concern? That she told me? He exhaled sharply. I'm saying, God, you're twisting everything. I was emotional, that's all. I didn't meet up with her. I didn't cheat. You tried to, I said. You tried to meet with her. You just got rejected. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? I said quietly. Building a whole future with someone while keeping your ex on standby, just in case you miss intensity. I don't have her on standby, he protested. I love you. I chose you. You keep saying that like you deserve a medal for it. He went silent. Michael, I said, you called me boring. You told your friends you wondered if you should have gone back to Taylor. You unblocked her. You started liking her posts, sending her DMs. And the very first time things got difficult between us, you reached out and asked to see her. I could hear his breathing on the line, ragged and uneven. What am I missing? I asked. I'm scared, he said finally. Okay? Happy? I'm terrified of settling down and losing myself. With Taylor, everything was crazy and intense and, yeah, unhealthy. But at least I felt something. With you, it's just routine, and that scares me. It makes me question whether I'm built for this kind of life. I closed my eyes. I can't fix that for you. Please don't end this, he begged. We can go to therapy. I'm not ending it because you're scared, I said. I'm ending it because you acted on it. Alyssa, I'm done. He inhaled sharply like I'd hit him. You don't mean that. I do, I said. I don't want to be someone's safe option while they chase their chaos somewhere else. I'll have my stuff out of the apartment by next week, I cut in. You can keep the deposit on the new place. Consider it a parting gift. Alyssa, please. I hung up. Then I blocked his number. For a few minutes, I sat perfectly still, phone in my hand, listening to the silence press against my eardrums. Then everything broke at once. Sobs, shaking, the whole body grief you can't contain with just tears. Marissa held me without asking questions, just rubbing circles on my back like I was a child. The next morning, I called the leasing office about the downtown apartment. The woman on the phone was apologetic but firm. The deposit was non-refundable. I didn't care. I called my mom and told her, voice steady and clinical, like I was giving a project update instead of dismantling my personal life. Oh, honey, she said softly. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to come over? No, I said. I just needed you to know. The week blurred. I moved my essentials back into my old one-bedroom, boxes stacked like quiet witnesses to a life that almost happened. Every so often, a new number would text me. Michael trying to get through different ways. I blocked each one without reading past the first word. On Thursday evening, as I was sorting through a box of kitchen stuff, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost declined. Then something in my gut told me to pick up. Hello? Alyssa, it's Serena. It took me a second to place her. Serena, the friend who'd been at our apartment for wine nights. The one Michael always called his voice of reason. I know who you are, I said cautiously. What do you want? We need to talk, she said. Her voice sounded wrong, tight, shaky. In person. Why? Because something happened with Michael and you need to know about it. The room tilted slightly. What happened? Not over the phone, she said quickly. Please, can you meet me for coffee after work? The place on Maple at 6? I should have said no. I should have told her this wasn't my problem anymore, that I'd resigned from the role of Michael's emotional caretaker. But curiosity, again, pushed past my common sense. Fine, I said, 6 o'clock. Thank you, she breathed. And Alyssa? What? I'm really sorry. The line went dead. All afternoon, my stomach twisted itself into knots imagining worst-case scenarios. Car accident, arrest, something with Taylor, something with me, somehow twisted into a new version of the story where I was the villain. At 6, I walked into the coffee shop on Maple. Serena was already there, tucked into a corner booth, hands wrapped around a mug she wasn't drinking from. She looked wrecked. No makeup, dark circles, hair thrown into a messy bun like she'd given up halfway through existing. I slid into the seat across from her. What's going on? She looked up at me with an expression that was part guilt, part fear. It's Michael, she said. He's in the hospital. My heart lurched. What? Why? What happened? Serena swallowed, eyes glistening. He and Taylor, they met up last night, at her place, and then her boyfriend came home. She took a shaky breath. There was a fight, she whispered, like a real one. Things got physical. The police were called, and now everything is an absolute mess. For a moment, all I could hear was my own pulse hammering in my ears. Serena's words came out in pieces, scattered by panic and guilt. I leaned forward. Start from the beginning. What happened? She nodded, hands trembling around her untouched mug. Michael, he went to see Taylor last night. I didn't know about it until this morning. He told me he just wanted closure, but I don't believe that anymore. Closure. Men love to call it closure when what they really want is a second chance at chaos. Taylor's boyfriend came home early, Serena continued. He walked in to find Michael there and completely lost it. I sucked in a breath, my stomach tightening. Were they? No, she said quickly. Not like that. But it didn't matter. Her boyfriend saw red. He thought they were sneaking around behind his back. She rubbed her forehead. There was yelling, pushing. Then someone threw something. I don't even know who started it. But Taylor got hurt trying to get between them. My voice dropped. Is she okay? She sprained her wrist, some bruises. She'll be fine physically. A beat. Emotionally, I don't know. She's a mess. So is Michael. My lungs felt too small, too tight. And why, I asked, am I hearing this from you and not him? Serena let out a humorless laugh. Because he thinks you wouldn't pick up. And because, she hesitated, he doesn't want you to know the rest. I went still. There's more? She nodded, eyes filling. Yeah. Silence settled between us like dust, heavy, suffocating. Tell me, I said quietly. Serena took a deep breath before speaking. Taylor's boyfriend pulled up the messages, she said, the ones between her and Michael. Because he didn't believe her when she said nothing was going on. My entire body tensed. What messages? Serena looked down at her hands. Alyssa, Michael didn't start talking to Taylor last weekend. It didn't begin with that DM. He's been reaching out to her for months. The world narrowed into a pinpoint. Months, I repeated, voice hoarse. How long? Since around the time you two started apartment hunting, she whispered, about 5 months ago. My mind flashed back to the laughter over wine night, the way he hesitated before calling me boring. The way he'd said, with Alyssa, it's just predictable. 5 months. 5 months of him secretly messaging his ex while planning a future with me. Serena swallowed hard. He would send her late-night messages, react to her stories, ask how she'd been. Sometimes it escalated, talking about their old fights, their old passion, how he still thought about the intensity they used to have. A cold ache settled deep in my chest. He was emotionally cheating, I whispered. Serena nodded, tears spilling over. I should have stopped him. I should have called him out the first time he mentioned talking to her, but he always made it sound harmless. Just checking in. Just being polite. And her voice cracked. I believed him. I shouldn't have. I pressed my palms together, grounding myself. Why are you telling me all this? She blinked. Because I'm done protecting him. Because I saw how destroyed you looked last week. And because you deserve the truth. I stared at her, feeling something inside me finally click into place. Not relief, not anger, not heartbreak. Clarity. Pure, painful, necessary clarity. What does Michael want now? I asked. Serena wiped her cheeks. He wants you, or he thinks he does. He keeps saying he messed up, that he was scared, that he didn't mean anything he said about Taylor, but I don't know if he even believes himself anymore. Did Taylor tell you anything else? Serena hesitated. She told me he hinted about meeting up before. She said she shut it down every time. Last night was the first time he pushed, and she finally gave in. I nodded slowly. And look how that turned out. Serena's mouth trembled. I'm so sorry, Alyssa. Really. I liked you both. I wanted to believe he was better than this. You don't need to apologize, I said. He made his own choices. She nodded, relieved and devastated all at once. After a moment, she said, "He wants to see you. Ask for forgiveness. Try again." I shook my head instantly. "No." "You're sure?" "Yes," I said, voice steady. "I'm not the consolation prize someone crawls back to when their chaos burns them." Serena exhaled shakily. "I told him you'd say that." A weight pressed on my chest. Not grief this time, but something cleaner. The kind of ache that comes right after a wound stops bleeding. "Is he going to be okay?" I asked. She gave a faint shrug. "Physically? Yes. Emotionally? I don't know. He's unraveling. And he keeps asking why Taylor didn't want him, why you don't want him, why everyone keeps walking away." She met my eyes. "But Alyssa, it's because he doesn't know how to stay." I let that sink in. It made everything make sense. His restlessness, his searching, the way stability scared him more than chaos did. "I can't fix him," I said quietly. "No," she whispered. "You can't." We sat there for a long moment, just breathing. Finally, I stood. "Thank you for telling me the truth." Serena stood too, wiping at her eyes. "I wish it didn't have to be like this. You didn't deserve any of it." "No," I said gently, "but I survived it." I turned toward the door. "Alyssa," she said softly. I paused. "He's going to keep trying to contact you. He said he won't give up." I gave a small, tired smile. "Then I'll keep blocking him." And I walked out of the coffee shop into the cold evening, the air sharp and clean against my lungs. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. In the weeks that followed, Michael tried everything. Different numbers, different email addresses, voicemails that started angry, then desperate, then eerily calm, as if changing the tone might change the outcome. I blocked each attempt as soon as it appeared, not out of spite, out of self-preservation. My mother worried I was bottling too much. Marissa worried I wasn't bottling enough. Serena texted twice to apologize again, though she didn't need to. But mostly, life got quiet. Not empty, just quiet. The kind of quiet that lets you hear yourself again. 6 days after my conversation with Serena, my phone lit up with a name I recognized instantly. Linda Carter, Michael's mom. My finger hovered over the screen before I answered. "Hi, Linda." "Oh, sweetheart," she breathed, voice shaking. "I'm so sorry about everything." I closed my eyes. Linda had always been kind, warm, gentle, the kind of woman who sent handwritten Christmas cards instead of texts. "You don't owe me any apologies," I said. "I know," she whispered, "but I still feel the need to give one. Michael told me everything, or some of it." Serena filled in the rest. I waited. "He's a mess," she continued. "He's angry at himself, angry at Taylor, angry at the world, but mostly he's devastated that he hurt you." I swallowed, steady. "I'm sorry he's struggling. I truly am, but that doesn't change anything." "I know, and I respect your decision. I just needed you to hear me say, we're all ashamed of how he handled things. You deserve better." Her voice cracked on the last word. "Thank you," I said softly. We talked for a few minutes about the hospital, the police report, how Taylor had moved out of her boyfriend's place and was staying with a cousin temporarily. Eventually, Linda let me go, telling me to take care of myself. When the call ended, I sat on the floor of my half-unpacked apartment and let the silence settle around me again. Relief, grief, gratitude. They all braided together into something bittersweet. The following week, Serena and I met again, this time because she asked if we could talk as friends, not as messengers for Michael's collapsing life. She ordered chamomile tea. I ordered black coffee. "You look better," she said with a tired smile. "Lighter." "I feel lighter," I admitted. "I'm glad. You deserve peace." So did she. I realized then that Serena had lost something too. Not just a friend, but the illusion that he was who she thought he was. We talked about childhoods, jobs, annoyances, hopes. Somewhere in the tragedy, she'd become an unexpected piece of solace. Life is strange like that. People you thought were villains become human. People you trusted become strangers. People you barely knew become soft places to land. 6 weeks after everything fell apart, I had found a rhythm again. I woke early, made coffee, went on runs, picked up my guitar for the first time in years, fingertips burning in that satisfying, familiar way, cooked meals for one without feeling embarrassed about the quiet space around me. I liked the quiet, loved it even. It wasn't boring, it was mine. One evening, I stopped at the grocery store after work. I walked down the produce aisle, grabbed apples, checked their firmness. A small, normal, peaceful moment. Then I looked up. Michael was standing at the other end of the aisle, a bruise fading on his cheek, a healing cut near his eyebrow, eyes tired and sunken. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then he opened his mouth like he wanted to say something. I didn't let him. I simply turned my cart around and walked away. Not quickly, not angrily, just finished. There was no satisfaction in it, no dramatic movie score swelling, just a quiet certainty. He wasn't my problem anymore. A few days later, Marissa slid into the booth across from me at brunch. Update from Serena, she said, raising her brows. Apparently Taylor moved to another state, packed everything. Left in the middle of the night. I blinked. Seriously? Yep, and Michael, well, he's already dating someone new. I didn't react, not even internally. Marissa sighed. Alyssa, I have to say it. I'm proud of you for walking away before you got dragged deeper into that black hole. I traced the rim of my mug. I thought losing him would break me. And it didn't, I said simply. If anything, I think I broke the version of myself that accepted crumbs. Marissa smiled at that. The server brought our food. The world continued turning, and I realized, finally, that I didn't need closure from Michael. The closure was in the life I was learning to love without him. A life where stability wasn't a burden, where routines were beautiful, where peace didn't need to be earned, where I chose myself first, without apology. Someone once asked me if I'd take Michael back if he came begging. The answer is still no. Not because I hate him, but because I finally understand that I deserve someone who doesn't confuse drama for passion. Someone who doesn't measure love in intensity, but in consistency. Someone steady, someone present. Someone who chooses me, without needing to compare me to ghosts. Michael wanted excitement. He got it, and it cost him everything stable he ever had. That's not my burden to fix. It's not my story to carry.